Yo, yo, what's good?
What's going on? What's going on? What it is, what it ain't.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another live edition of Two Fans in the Stands. I am CJ, and
I am your scout couch extraordinaire, Tony. You know it.
oh man. So Tony, how you been, man? How was your week?
Man, it's been good. It's been good so far. Me and the wife we're gonna go check out Transformers
Mm,
Rise of the Beast tomorrow. But other than that, man,
okay.
it's just been chilling. How about yourself?
Same thing. Getting ready for the fourth. I was actually outside earlier, um, taking some moving some dirt around to put some forms down to pour some concrete. So I'm gonna extend
Oh,
the
okay.
patio, just well, not really extend the patio, but I got one section where I have some pavers down. So I'm gonna make that concrete and then gonna screen it in. So
Bet.
everybody hopefully everybody can enjoy my fireworks show I plan to put on.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Go crazy.
Kevin, how you doing? What's going on with you?
Hey, what's going on, Kevin?
Anthony, how you doing, buddy? What's going on?
Yeah, we missed you last week, Anthony.
I say, hey, go Panthers. That's right. Go
Keep
Panthers.
pounding.
Yes, sir. All right,
That's
cuz. Well,
right.
let's go ahead and get into it, man. Want to start off with the weekly press conferences, okay? So we
All
had
right.
Frank Wright, Bryce Young, Icky, Ike McQuanu, and DJ
Yeah.
Chark. So they all had their press conferences this week. So I want to start off. Let's start off with DJ Chark. Tony, tell me what was the main thing you took out of his presser.
With DJ Chark, I was just one, I was surprised. I didn't realize that he was healthy enough to even start OTA. So it was good seeing him out there building the chemistry with Bryce Young and the rest of the wide receivers in the offense. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I know they mentioned that he took a good deep ball pass from Bryce Young. I think it was Thursday, the last day of OTAs.
Yeah.
So I was glad to see that. I just hope there's no further hiccups for the rest of the off season and the season, to be honest, and just hope
Mm-hmm.
that he can have a comeback year. And I'm sure they're going to slowly build him up, you know, to week one. And just take their time. I don't think they're going to rush him or anything like that. But it was just good to see him out there. How about you?
Hey, the same man. It was funny because they asked him about the new sporting bill, that North Carolina is trying to get passed. And the first thing he said, he was like, "Nah, I don't know nothing about it." He was like, I don't bet, I don't do none of that." So I thought that was very interesting. But
Yeah,
going back to what you said about him and the connection that he made with Bryce Young. Now they said that
right.
he wasn't the first read on that play, so he kind of Bryce Young kind of improvised, and he found the Chark down the field, for that long pass. And he was saying that's something
Yeah,
that they've been working on in practice, where reading the coverage. And Young
right.
made a read, Chark caught the ball. So it's good to see that their chemistry is already starting to take shape. Like you said, it's OTAs. They throw in the air. They don't have pads
Right,
on. So,
right.
but yeah, I mean, I was happy with it.
It's
And
a
let's
good
get
start.
on. Yeah, it's definitely a good start. Now, what about Icky? What did you take away from his presser?
Hey, I just take from Icky, man. Icky just full of energy. He's very energetic. Um, he said he's gotten stronger,
Mm-hmm.
faster. You know, I just want to see him with a year under his belt, refine his technique, get better at that. Excuse me. And
Mm-hmm.
just see what year two has in store for him. I'm pretty sure that Joe Camping has been nothing but a blessing for him, and also having Cam Irvin as that veteran presence, someone that he could lean on, which he talked about throughout the year last year. Having Cam Irvin back, if to do nothing else, but to continue being that shoulder that he can lean on, and someone that can give him that veteran advice. I think
Mhm.
that bodes well for him and his development. Well, what do you take from Mickey?
I'm gonna tell you in a second, but check your fan. Your fan is rubbing on something.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. But pretty much the same thing. And I like the fact that he's going to the Dallas for a couple of weeks for that offensive lineman camp or whatever he called it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's gonna go down there and he's going to, be able to pick the brains of some Hall of Fame offensive linemen. And just go down there. And the thing that stuck out to me is that he said he was constantly working on his craft. He said that they said that he think he was faster this season. He was like, yeah. They said, you think you're stronger this season? He was like, oh yeah, I know I'm stronger. So,
Right. Right.
he watched tape from last year, and basically the last half of last season where they started getting better, he took that, he's been watching that film and trying to, refine, what he's been doing. All right.
Right. Right.
All
Yeah.
right. And now we will get to our brand new QB1, Bryce Young. What do you think about his press conference?
Hey, Bryce Young is going to be Bryce Young, man. That kid is he's humble, and he shows
Mm-hmm.
so much poise and confidence. He's what I would call right now the humble assassin. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So, hey, I like the idea that he's locked in, focused, and what he's learning in the meeting room, in the study room, he's taking it and translating it to the field. So that shows a lot about his as far as his progression, as far as learning the offense, being able to absorb information at a high rate and then translate that to the practice field. And that's what you want to see. That doesn't matter if you're a rookie quarterback, year 5 or year 15. You always want
Mm-hmm.
to see your quarterback be able to transfer that knowledge that he has learned, or the whatever that he studied in the classroom. You want to see them translate onto the field. Whether it's
Okay.
making some different reads, some changes or whatnot. Whatever it is, you want to see that translated on the field. And he's taking pride in being able to do that right now. Well, what would you think? What did you take from it?
Well, me personally, I like the fact that they asked him about, going to the defense, the coaches, the defense in general, and asking them questions, picking their brains and seeing what they're seeing, like from him. So he's a rookie, but you got to like when you hear stuff like that coming from him. He said that he knows that every defense is not like the Panthers defense, but he's happy to have a defense like the Panthers and the coaches that they have now, where he can go to and pick their brain and figure out the little nuances that they have in their defense, and maybe he can take that stuff and apply it to his game, and hopefully that'll translate into success once the season starts. So
Right,
that was what
right.
I took about off of that one. And last but not least is Frank Wright. Okay. What did you take out of his press conference?
Frank, right. The main thing that I took out of it is the fact that they did go ahead and announce that Bryce Young was going to be taking some first team snaps, which I didn't know that's something that they had mentioned early on in the week. In my mind, I'm not going to say that it was too early. I thought it was
Mm-hmm.
going to be an announcement that they was going to make probably at the starting training camp. I really don't see the benefit of whether you. I don't see the benefit of them announcing it now, as opposed to training camp, because you got 3 days of mandatory mini camp coming up this week, and then they're off for about another five weeks before they report to training camp. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't really see the difference in it. But he said him and Scott Fitterer had a plan. They sticking to it, and so far so good. So I don't see nothing wrong with it. Um, I don't like his comment that he made about the cornerback position. When he was asked about Jaycee Horn's injury. Um, we'll dive a little bit more into that later, but clearly there's something about the cornerback room and the cornerbacks that we have that they see that none of us can see, because a lot of us, including myself, we're going off of what they did last year. And
Mm-hmm.
that's all, because that's all we have to go on. We look at how the cornerbacks played the past 2 or 3 years. It wasn't a good look. We always talked about the injuries and stuff like that, and who we have left to man the corners, and what the depth looks like behind them. And to see them not really address that, and now you come with the injury to J.C. Horn. I mean, come on, man. It's like, when when
Mm-hmm.
when are you going to say, I need to buckle down and get a veteran corner in here? So, what about you? What do you take away from that? From Frank Wright press conference?
I just like the fact that they had a plan, they stuck with it. And they've had this plan, I think since before OTA started. And like we said, and we had an agree or disagree on this about, was Bryce Young going to be QB1 before the start of week 1. And I this doesn't surprise me at all. I think it was just a matter of time. But like I said, I like the fact that they stuck with it, and they didn't tell him anything about it until like last week. They said they had a conversation with him and let him know that this was happening. But I do applaud them for letting him sit behind Andy Dalton as short of a time as it was, because it's not like he sat behind them for months and months, but they decided this was the right time to pull the trigger, and they went ahead and did it. Um,
Yeah.
I, I've got to piggyback on what you said too. That whole cornerback comment really threw me for a loop. I mean, really, because
Yes,
as you
sir.
said, there must be something somewhere going on at Bank of America on Mint Street that we do not know about, that they know about as of right now. Okay, because
Yeah.
Jaycee is supposed to be ready to go for training camp, but like you said, we're gonna get into that a little bit more shortly. But yeah, that one really took me back, and I was just like, oh,
Not
okay,
not feeling it.
not at all, not in the least bit. But yeah, but one other thing that he said the wide receiver room was looking good, and the tight end room has exceeded their expectations.
Right.
And I thought that
Right.
was real interesting that he said that, especially coming after the comments, in the phone interview that Tommy Tremble did with the Observer.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
and we'll dig into that a little bit later too. But I thought that was very interesting. Very, very,
Yeah.
very interesting. Yeah. But all right, well, Tony, move on to our next subject here. You had something you want to do on Bradley Bozeman?
Yeah. So I had saw an article in PFF, and it was an article about Bradley Bozeman, how he has thrived since being in Carolina, and he's a
Mm-hmm.
fan favorite or whatnot. But then they want to they dropped him 3 spots to number
Mm-hmm.
17 on the list. And
Yeah.
I brought up a quote from Gordon, bring up a quote here from Gordon McGinnis from Pro Football Focus. And this is what he said. Now, he said Bradley Bozeman had a career year with the Ravens in 2021, earning a
Mm,
73.6 PFF grade that saw him end the year as the 10th highest graded player at the position. He didn't reach those heights in 2022 with the Panthers, but he now has four consecutive seasons with a 63 plus PFF grade. He's an average center in today's NFL, and that's quite okay. Gordon McGinnis, Pro Football Focus. Now, Gordon, if you're listening, you're probably not, but if you're listening, you must be out your damn mind. There is nothing average about Bradley Bozeman. Let's be all the way clear, okay? There's nothing there's nothing average about Bradley Bozeman. You can't say in one breath that he thrived when he was finally installed into the system, into the lineup.
mm,
You know,
yeah.
bringing a positive veteran presence in the locker room,
Mm,
being a leader in the community or whatnot. But then you have the audacity to drop him 3 spots to number 17. So my question would be to Gordon is who are the 16 other centers that are better in the NFL than Bradley Bozeman? Now, granted,
yeah.
Bradley Bozeman didn't play a full year last year. We get that. But we all know as Panthers fans and Panther Nation, once Bradley Bozeman entered the lineup, it was like a game changer for us on offense. We
It
had
was.
that stability, that true hog molly in the middle that you and I, CJ, that we had talked about even before the season started last year, even when they signed him in free agency and got him from Baltimore. Now, granted, he got hurt his ankle. They played Pat Eifline. I
Mm,
was under the mindset I was hoping they played Sam Tecklenburg instead of Pat Eifline for the simple fact he's not big enough. Okay,
nah.
that he wasn't big enough, and Pat Affleck is injury prone. Has
Mm,
been his whole career ever since he came out of Ohio State. But once Bradley Bozeman entered the lineup, man, it changed the offensive line mentality for the rest of the year. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And
It did.
I just want to know who are the other 16 centers that he feel like is better than Bradley Bozeman. Now that's what I want to know because I even put up some stats that he had last year. 680 snaps out of 680 snaps, he only had 4 penalties and 2 sacks allowed. Now, again, like I said, he didn't play a full 17, but when he did enter the game, I mean, those are stats that I don't think you can sneeze at. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm. Nah, not at
So
all.
I was kind of upset about that. I was a little been a little perturbed for the past few days, but
Really.
I felt like I had to get that off my chest. And anybody feel like they want to comment, you can comment now. I'm done. I'm done. CJ,
I mean, but
how
now,
do you feel about it?
I mean, I agree. I don't understand at all how you would drop him in the rankings. Now, I'm not going to say that, he's the number one center in the league. I mean, because you still got Jason Kelsey out there for the Eagles. But, you know, I would definitely put him in at least top 10. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right,
And
exactly.
I think that this year that he'll have a chance to prove whoever this cat was wrong. Because, like you said, last year he got hurt before the season started and he missed the first half of the season. But when he came in, you saw an instant change in our offensive line. Okay.
Yes.
It was, I mean, I don't know if he was, I don't know if it was more than just his play on the field, or I don't know if it was something that he brought to the locker room. I don't know if he took everybody out to dinner or whatever it was. You know what I mean? I don't know if he
Right.
gave them some kind of passionate speech or whatever it was, but whatever he brought to the table, you saw it start with him and it radiated out to the other four guys on the offensive line, and it just changed. And and you can also kind of chalk it up to they went to a more run first scheme. The team was real run heavy, and it may have been a situation where they took more advantage of each one of those players' talents. But you can't deny that when our offensive line took off was when he got in the game, when he got healthy and came back.
Exactly. Exactly. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing that bothered me the most about the whole article. Like you can't, hype him up, so to speak, in one hand, but then on the other hand, say that you dropped him 3 spots. You know what I'm saying? That's what
Mm-hmm.
threw me. I'm like, pick a struggle. You can't have it both ways.
He said
So
pick a struggle.
but I still want to know. I still want to know who the other 16 centers that he feel is better than Bradley Bozeman. That I would like an answer to.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. I want them other 16. Yeah,
Yeah,
I would love to pick that list apart. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
But
Well,
yeah.
I'm gonna get off my high horse now, and I'm gonna let you carry on with the live.
Okay.
I thank you, sir, for allowing me to get that off my chest. I feel better
Uh,
now.
all right. Well, cool beans. That's what it is. All right. So
So we got a couple.
I'm going to put the link in the chat here if anybody wants to join
Let's see,
us.
man. The
And
corner situation going to give us a heart attack. Yeah, Kev, you damn right, Kevin. Because I'm about to have I about blew a casket, not a casket, a gasket the other day when that happened, man. I was like, hey, here we go again. Here we go again. And the first thing I thought about, we should address the corner position
mhm.
with that third round pick in the draft instead of trading
Hold
up
on, hold
getting
on, hold on.
DJ.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Hold
Okay,
that
all
thought.
right,
Hold that thought.
all right, because I'm
Okay.
about to
Because now
go in again.
you jump in the head. You jump in the head. That's what I
All
want to
right,
get
man.
into for our next topic. Okay.
All right, all
And
right.
we want to talk about Jaycee Horn. Okay. So Jaycee Horn got hurt. He got hurt at a private workout that he was doing on his own. They didn't get the extent to his injury, I don't think. If anybody has found that out and can tell me, let us know. But he hurt his foot and his ankle, and he's going to be in a walking boot for several weeks. But they said he should be good to go for training camp. Okay. Um,
Right.
the cornerback position last year, literally, I say literally, cost us a trip to the playoffs. Okay. And not JC Horn. Okay. Not necessarily him, but our lack of depth behind him. Now he was hurt for that game, but I can't put anything on him in a game that he didn't play. Okay.
Right. Right.
But you had Keith Taylor, CJ Henderson. I forgot who else was behind, Stanley Thomas Oliver, I believe. But
Yeah.
that was our depth last year because Dante Jackson was already gone for the season with the injury. But what gets me is the fact that this coaching staff, I know they're new, okay, but I know they've watched enough film from last year to come to the conclusion that I think a lot of us as fans have come to the same conclusion. Like there needs to be something done for better depth at the cornerback position because Dante Jackson is he got that IP label on him. He's injury prone. Um JC Horn, I mean, I'm not going to do it just yet. I'm not going to do it just yet because for the simple fact they said he's going to come back and be ready to go at training camp. So I'm not going to throw that IP on him just yet. But he's close. No, no, no,
Okay.
no, 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 no,
No,
no, no.
I just had one
Leave him
question. I
alone.
just had one
Leave him
question.
alone.
I just had one question. I just got one question.
Speak.
If he miss any time this upcoming year,
Yes.
will you be willing to put the
Yeah.
label on him?
Yeah, yeah. Let me tell you, it's kind of like
Okay.
a heavyweight fight. He hit that mat one more time. It's it's a wrap. I mean, you're gonna have to, yeah, yeah. If he gets hurt, and the crazy thing is, he just came out and made a comment to somebody, and he was like, he can't control bones breaking or can't, the injury. Now, mind you, now his second injury was the one with Jeremy Chin hit him in the wrist and broke his wrist. Yeah,
Right.
that was friendly fire. But
Yeah, that
the
was friendly
injury that
fire.
took him out of his rookie year was a broken bone in his foot, if I'm
Yeah,
not mistaken.
he broke his foot. Yeah.
Yeah. So this injury, albeit it's not the same foot that he injured in his rookie year, but it's another foot injury.
Right.
So, and like I said, he's supposed to be ready for training camp. He's supposed to be good to go. If he can come back and carry on and not get hurt, great. That'll be great. But it kind of leads us into if Horn misses any games this season, we need to trade him. The guy has a cap. Okay.
Okay, Kevin.
Wow.
Calcium deficiency.
Wow. Wow. Okay, Kevin. Now,
Oh God.
that first part, I'm not going to stand behind. I don't.
Hey,
I'm not standing
hey,
behind us trading Horn. But that second
yeah,
part is hilarious.
yeah. But
This
okay,
has a
but
calcium
that
deficiency.
leads me to another question I have about Jaycee Horn. Do you think he would ever reach elite status if the injuries continue to happen?
That's a good question. Um, Now everybody has little nagging injuries that they deal with on a yearly, weekly, monthly basis, in the NFL. But if he keep having, if he has another significant injury, or
Okay.
let me see, I'm trying to make sure
What's
I put
considered
this
a significant injury or a missing significant playing time?
missing significant playing time. Well, I mean, well, it's kind of both, but yeah,
Okay.
if he misses okay, yeah, that will probably keep him from reaching all his potential. Okay, because I think he's a damn good cornerback now. I think he's really, really, really good already. But if he can't if he can't do this continually over a whole season, then
Right.
then yeah, we may not be able to see um how far his abilities can go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you.
What you
I agree
think?
with you on that. No, I agree with you on that. I think in order for you to reach that elite status, like that elite status puts you in that classification of being a true shutdown corner.
Mm-hmm.
Not a really great corner, not a very good corner, but that shutdown corner that can take away half of the field. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But no matter whether you're playing zone or man, you giving the opposite court, the opposing team quarterback nightmares, and they have to think about whether they want to try you or not each and every
Mm-hmm.
Sunday.
Yeah.
But in order to reach that, you have to be healthy and be available and be on the field. So,
Mm-hmm.
like to me, like right now, in all honesty, if I'm being honest with myself, I think he's a very good corner. He hasn't
Mm-hmm.
reached greatness yet because he hasn't put in enough time to reach that. And in order to reach elite, you got to go through greatness. So,
Yeah.
in my opinion, that's my opinion. So, I don't know. I don't know. I think this year will be another telling year if he can manage to play all 17 games, or don't miss any games this year with injuries, whether it's just in the regular season, if we happen to make the playoffs, be available for that as well. Because now you have people thinking that maybe we should took Patrick Surtain with the eighth overall pick in that draft instead of Jaycee Horn. Patrick Surtain has definitely been available for the Broncos. So I mean,
You're right.
it's hindsight because it's hindsight to say that now, because we have 2 or 3 years of tape in history with Jaycee Horn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But on draft night, I think you could have went either or,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah. It's just a weird situation because when we did our mock drafts, all the way up into, up to the draft, I'm sorry. Cornerback was the position I think we drafted in every single draft.
Yes. Especially,
Whether
especially when I had it, I would take at
mhm,
least 2 corners.
yeah. I think it was a draft where I took Eli Ricks from Alabama and somebody else. But and to go back to what you were saying, but before I cut you off, because you was getting ahead of me there. But we had an opportunity. We had an opportunity, and I will let you go ahead and speak on that opportunity that we had.
So, you know, the third round pick 90, and we traded up 13 picks to no, we was pick 93. We traded up 13 picks to pick 8 and took DJ Johnson. Well, we would have stand pat at pick 93. One of the elite corners in my mind was still available, and
Hmm.
that's Kelly Ringo out of Georgia. And I was hoping for let me just say this, for whatever reason, I don't know or understand why he fell to the third round, but you
Hmm.
can't knock him for his production. Elite corner, played at Georgia, 3 year starter, two-time defending national champion, 6'2", 207, 4.35 40. I don't know how you can argue or even get mad at those numbers. Well, whatever it is that he was lacking, you can coach him up on that. But when I seen him on tape, you know, I seen a very good corner that could have came in
Hmm.
and provided depth this year, just in case when you have situations with this right now with Jaycee Horn being injured. You're not asking all these questions about why we didn't address the cornerback position. What we gonna do with the cornerback position? Are we gonna look for a veteran in free agency? What's going on? Why didn't we address it in free agency? Is the undrafted free agents that we picked up or that we signed, are they enough? Well, none of that I don't think would have been a question if we would have addressed it in the draft, because that was a need, just like
Hmm.
defensive end or outside linebacker was a need, cornerback was a dire need. Now I know they say that uh Dante Jackson is supposed to be ready for training camp. Okay, but as of now, he's not. And like you said, he's injury prone. You can't count on him to be there for 17 games. The NFL is a passing league. You need 3 or 4 really good corners to be
Hmm.
able to stop the passing in this league. If not, you
Yeah.
could be in the world of hurt, just like we were last year when Jaycee went down and Dante Jackson went there. Who were we stuck with? Keith Taylor and CJ Henderson. I
Yeah.
mean, come on, man. If you want to
Hmm.
be an elite defense and you want to take that next step, you have to address the holes in your defense. You have to be aware of that.
Hmm.
I mean, come on. That's
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
and KT, I don't, we're not, I think, I think Kevin was making a funny comment there. He threw in that
Yeah.
calcium deficiency at the end of it. But nah, Panthers would be dumb to trade Horn right now, because like I said, he's hurt, but he's supposed to be ready to come back for training camp. So yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah. Success is inevitable. Ringo ran a 4.35 at the combine. That was his 40 time.
Quick.
Yeah.
And And you know what, Tony? I want to go back to something too here because you mentioned the new coaching staff. Well, no, you mentioned that you need to have four good corners in this league because it's turned into a passing league, and
Right.
the holes in the position for us, you need to be able to fill those holes. So let me bring this up here, and I just wanted to take a quick look at the Panthers depth chart. All right.
Okay.
So now they have base 3-4 defense. All right. They got Dante Jackson listed as questionable. He should be back. And you got Jaycee Horn also listed as questionable. He should be back. I don't know why in the hell they got Jeremy Chin as as the second cornerback behind Jaycee Horn. I don't know if somebody was drinking when they
They got to
typed
be a
this up or it's a
misprint.
typo. Yeah, that's it's something. And then you
Yeah.
got CJ Henderson, Keith Taylor, Stanley Thomas, Oliver III, Herb Miller, and Rajon Wright. Okay. Um, with I still don't understand how nobody could see this as a problem. It's especially like you said, when one gets hurt, and what when Dante got hurt, then when JC got hurt. Okay. Like I said, the cornerback position literally cost us a chance at the playoffs. All right. And mind you, when you go back and take a look at it, it probably worked out for the best because we were in a position to go and trade up and get Bryce Young. Because if we picked down at whatever spot we'd have got for winning the NFC South, the Bears probably wouldn't have traded with us for so we could be able to get up there and draft him. But even
Right.
still, though, because you got CJ Henderson who's not practicing for whatever reason he got going on. Keith Taylor was a liability last year. Stanley Thomas, Oliver III, I would say the same for him. You got Herb Miller and Rajon Wright. Rajon Wright's undrafted free agent who showed from his tape and what the coaches have said about him, he's shown a lot of potential. And but he's
But
still
he didn't
improving,
practice last week in OTAs. He had some type
yeah,
of injury.
exactly. So there's another one. Now we brought in Eric Rowe, okay, and they said that Eric Rowe can play safety. He can come down and play nickel as well. Which, if things continue like this, he's probably gonna have no choice but to come down and do that. But I just don't get how this was not a need that they felt like they should address. Now back to Frank Wright's press conference, um, he said that he was not concerned because everybody okay, Dante Jackson hasn't practiced, CJ Henderson hasn't practiced for personal reasons. Now JC Horn is out. But even when Horn was there, you still had everybody else at the cornerback position who were getting more reps because Dante Jackson was out and CJ Henderson was out. So
Right.
like I go back and I say this, it's got to be something they're seeing. It's got to be something they're seeing, and we don't know. But from those comments, it seems like they are very happy with the depth that they have behind JC and Dante. And
Well,
us as fans, for me, I just I don't see it, and I hope it translates to the field because it didn't last year.
the one thing that I will say that I think would be beneficial that will help the cornerbacks out this year is we're going to play more of a shell coverage. We're going to have two safeties instead of playing a single high safety. I don't think we have a corner. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't think we have a safety that is a true single high safety. But when you put
Mm-hmm.
Von Bell and he's responsible for one half of the field, and Xavier Woods is responsible for the other half. I think with their instincts, their high football IQ, both of them are captains of defenses. They can read coverages pretty well. I think that bodes well as far as helping whoever's on the island as a corner. I think last year we got victimized a lot. In the past 2 years, whenever we went to a single high position, we got beat over the top. And you saw it in the game when we played Minnesota, how they came back and beat us in overtime. You saw it last year, how Brady just patiently waited for us to play that single high coverage. And what he do? Him and Mike Evans over the top every time. They were just killing us every time we was in single high safety look last year. I don't think you're going to see a lot of that this year. I think that's one of the reasons why Von Bell was brought in to pair with Xavier Woods in the safety backfield, and on the back end. So, and as far as Eric Rowe was brought in to play the nickel position. I don't think that his primary objective with him was to bring him in and add depth to the outside. I think you'll see him playing a lot of nickel. You'll see Jamie Robertson playing a lot of nickel. Now, with that being said,
Mm-hmm.
because he has played corner, he is a corner. He came out of Utah as a corner. You know what I mean? So he
Okay.
does have an experience playing the cornerback position. It's not saying that we can't use him, if we need him there. But I think
Yeah.
his primary role is to play uh nickel corner, nickel back for us and provide some safety depth. Like we have some very versatile pieces, but we need some solid, consistent pieces on the outside. I think we're good at safety. I think we're good as far as nickel corners. It's the outside that worries me the most.
Okay. I got you. I got you. Yeah, I'm
Shit.
gonna. I like Mingo dress on. Yeah, now if they would have pulled the
Yeah,
trigger and made that trade. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Because I was
I
surprised that
wouldn't
he
have been mad
even
at that.
made it to day two.
I
I
was
really
too.
was. I was
I
really
was
surprised he
too.
made it day two.
Yeah. All right. Now, next question I wanted to ask you: what do you think about? Well, switching topics, y'all. But what do you think about Brian Burns' new number?
Agent Zero, man. Hey, I think it
Agent
looked
Z.
good on him. I think it looked good on him. I think he already, chiseled up, slim chiseled. But I think he could rock that number zero pretty good. I think he could
Okay.
do it. I think he could do it some justice. I I I might have to break into my piggy bank and get me one of them zero Brian Burn jerseys. You know
Okay. Well, shoot, those of you that
what you
haven't
think?
seen it, there's the rendering there. It's Spider Burns with the number zero. Hey, man, I like it, and I'm trying to think is now I know he's the first Panther to wear number zero. He
Yeah,
is the first player period to wear number zero, is he?
not in the
Like,
league, no,
okay, all right, that's what I
not
was
in the
thinking.
league, no.
Because I
But
kept
he
reading
he
reading
is the
things that somebody
first.
said he made NFL history, but I was like, no, but I know he's the first
No,
Panther.
he's the first Panther to ever wear double zero, and I think he's. I want to say, was he the first defensive end? Because I can't think of who else switched to zero.
I can't. I don't know
I
either.
can't. I can't think of defensively. I can't think of who else switched to zero. But yeah,
Okay,
he
but
definitely the
yeah,
first Panther in history to wear that number. So yeah,
okay,
I think he'll do well with it.
good. Let me tell you, I hope that zero will translate into him taking his game up to another level. Maybe that zero will mean zero mistakes, zero misses. Zero
Zero
things left on the table.
offsides.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
hey, let's say you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So he eager to get to the quarterback. All right,
yeah.
but
No, no. We can do without that. The hell, damn all that.
Well, I mean, he ain't do
we
it
can do
much.
we
It's
can
like he
do
did it
without them
all the time.
offsides.
We can.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
okay.
now I wanted to get into
What's up?
something that we started doing every week and on our live agree or disagree. And so the big
Okay.
news this week, well, a big comment made from Panthers tight end Tommy Tremble. He did a phone interview with the Observer on Tuesday, and he said in so many words that he's getting a lot more coaching from this previous coaching. I mean, from this coaching staff than he did from the previous coaching staff. Um, the last year was more of a situation where they everything was on paper. You went out and you ran your route, okay, and if it didn't work, he said that they would have to kind of figure it out on their own. He said
Right.
with the new coaching staff, he's getting a lot more coaching. They're telling him, what leverage to play against defense, what leverage to play against a certain defense, what to do versus a certain coverage. So he said he is definitely, liking what's going on now. And, hopefully that translates into better production. And that kind of struck me also, especially when Frank Wright said that the tight end room is exceeding expectations. So now I'm
Right.
wondering, are they exceeding expectations because now they're getting the coaching that they should have got the whole time. Now, mind you, Ian Thomas came in before he was drafted in what 2018, 2019, I believe it was. I think he was
So
still
something like that. He's been
yeah,
around for a minute now.
yeah, because he was here when Matt Rule got here. But
Yeah.
that brings me to my question. Um and I've seen both sides of this, watching some videos and stuff. But
Right.
do you agree with him making the comments, or do you disagree? You think that was a good look or was it a bad look?
I think I agree. I
Mm-hmm.
agree with his comment. I think when you look at Tommy Tremble is not one of the ones that just goes off and just says anything to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
He's very reserved, very quiet. I think he's very authentic when he do speak. I think it was just a thing where he recognized the differences of the two coaching staffs. When Matt
Mm-hmm.
Rule was here and whoever was the tight ends coach under that era, as
Yeah.
opposed to Frank Wright and the coaching that he's receiving from the tight end coach now. I think he was just
Mm-hmm.
speaking on that. I mean, if there's a difference in someone teaching you and showing you how to use the leverage, how to read coverages from the tight end position and what you should do, whether you should, if you're a wide receiver like Greg Olson was, Greg Olson could run a route and if the linebackers play him to the outside, you know what I'm saying? He go inside. If the linebacker was
Mm-hmm.
playing him inside, he'll take it outside. You know what I'm saying? But if you have to have someone that can teach you and show you those things because you're only going to retain what someone is telling you. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're only going to retain what someone telling you. And it's funny that that came up because the other day I was watching a video with Deion Sanders and Andre Rison. Andre Rison was visiting Deion Sanders out in
Mm-hmm.
Colorado, and he made mention that you know in today's NFL, you need to have more coaches on the coaching staff that can teach and show these players the nuances of the game that can help them elevate and take their game higher. That's
Yeah.
like I can go out right now and I can coach a running back or a cornerback, right? But I can
Mm-hmm.
only take it to a certain level, right?
Yeah.
I don't have the expertise because I never played it at that high level to take you here.
Mm-hmm.
But you take someone that's been here, they can take you here and possibly beyond. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you look at the coach staff, and I think me and you had this conversation a while back. When you look at this coaching staff, there are people that have played the game in vital positions on this team. Deuce Staley at running back, D'Angelo
Mm-hmm.
Hall at cornerback. The cornerbacks. You got Josh McCown, quarterback. Thomas Brown, offense coordinator. Frank Wright, head coach. I mean, these are guys that all play the game. You know what I'm saying? And played it at a high level. So they can tell you and show you what you need to do, how it needs to be done to take your game to another level. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if a lot of people remember when we had Ricky Pro here as a wide receivers coach. If I'm not mistaken, I have to go back and look at the numbers. I'm just going off the top of my head. The year that we had Ricky Pro as a wide receivers coach here, our wide receivers had a pretty good season. I think he was here for 2 years. We
Mm-hmm.
had pretty good receivers production from the receivers those
Mm-hmm.
2 years that he was here. When Ricky Pro decided to leave because he wanted to, you know, watch his children grow up, put them through school or whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
you saw a decline in the wide receiver room. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? In their production, and that just goes back to like I just said, having people in the room that has done what you're trying to do means it's like night and day difference. Like
Mm-hmm.
anybody can coach X's and O's, but it's
Yeah.
the little nuances, like we always talk about the intangibles, the
Mm-hmm.
little things. If I ain't never played the position, I can't give you all that the position has.
Yeah.
But if you taking it from D'Angelo Hall, he can give you that. If you're taking it from
Mm-hmm.
Deuce Staley, he can give you that. If you're taking it
Sean
from Thomas
Jefferson.
Brown and Josh McCown, he can do that. You know what I'm saying? And then your
Mm-hmm.
head coach is Frank Wright. So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think there was nothing wrong with what Tommy Trimble said. I know that was a long answer, but yeah,
That's all good.
I'm stick
But
I'm sticking to it.
oh yeah, I'm with you. I'm gonna have to agree. I'm gonna have to agree. And
Okay.
people got to remember too, Tommy Tremble came out of Notre Dame, but he was more known as a blocker and a
Right.
okay receiver. All right.
Yeah,
And
they
I
didn't
take
use
that
him.
as, yeah, if he ran a route and he was open, he catch the ball. All right. And when they ran the ball, he was a good blocker on the end of the line. Now, if he was just giving routes and they basically were like, okay, go run the route. And it didn't work. And he came back to the sideline and he didn't get any kind of, okay, well, you see what happened here. All right. When that linebacker did this, you should have did this. All right.
Right.
When you went out, you went left, you went right. I mean, and I'm just kind of throwing stuff off the top of my head here. But he's somebody that needed that extra coaching, and like he said, they're learning what to do versus different defenses, how to read different leverages and stuff like that. But one of our one of our subscribers, I forgot his name, Digit, I can't remember the rest of his name.
Oh,
And
Digit TBR.
yeah, Digit TBR. And when I
Yeah.
made the video about it, he was commenting about about Matt Rule, because I put in the thumbnail, Matt Rule didn't coach. And I
Right.
say because Matt Rule was the head coach. So if this man is
Yeah.
coming out and saying that, he didn't get this and didn't get that, and if that is true, that obviously falls on the head coach, because he's supposed to be making
Yeah.
sure that all the rest of his staff are doing what they're supposed to be doing and coaching these guys up the way that they should, and
Yeah.
it kind of makes me wonder, how far this went down, like what other positions did it affect, was the tight end room the only room that was, being told to kind of, hey, do this, and if it doesn't work, figure it out. Are there any other stars out there waiting in the wings, like I said in the video, who just need some coaching?
Right.
But to get back on track here, though, I have no issue with what Tommy Trumbull said, and how he said it. Because if you're just pointing out the differences between what's going on back then and what's going on now, that's all he did. And that man is probably excited. He's probably
Yeah,
really excited about what the coaching that he's getting now, and what that translates to out on the field.
right.
Because he's probably going out there and he's probably running routes, and the stuff that is being told to him now, and he's doing things and he's like, oh my God, that worked. I did not know this before. He's going out doing other stuff. Oh my God, that worked. I didn't do this. I didn't know this. You know what
I
I
saw
mean?
I saw a video earlier today, and it was just giving a snapshot of. I guess it was just showing like some of the drills, some of the things that some of the position groups were doing in OTAs, and it showed position where Tommy Trimmer came off the line of scrimmage, and say if he had a linebacker hugging him, you know what I'm saying, like
Mhm.
on his right shoulder, how you
Yeah.
can use that as leverage and kind of push off, and he snapped the route, and it was like an out route, and and
Mhm.
of course the ball was there. I think that kind of thing is what he's talking about as far as the teaching techniques, how to create separation, how to come off, um certain movements off the line of scrimmage, how to
Yeah.
use the linebacker as leverage, how to use the safety as leverage. If they play me inside, how can I take it outside? If they play me outside, how can I take it inside? If it's a
Mhm.
zone, how to, hook and sit down and clear the zone or
Yeah.
whatnot. I think
Mhm.
it's those little things that they are practicing and going over and over and over and over again. Repetition. That's what you need. You need repetition to where it becomes second nature. But I
Mhm.
also I want to mention this about that comment that he made. If Teddy Bridgewater would have never made the comment that he made a couple years ago, where he said, "We don't practice no red zone, we
Red
don't
zone.
practice no
Yep.
2 minute drill." Like, he was basically saying, "I feel for Joe Brady." You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I can't wait to Joe Brady get out of Carolina because they doing him a disservice.
Man.
You know what I
Man.
mean?
Hey, I'm not even gonna lie. When Joe Brady got let go, and I can't. I was scratching my head, and I was just like, hmm. Because I
Hmm.
honestly, I didn't think Joe Brady was a bad coach. I thought he was a really good hire, and now that kind of makes me, kind of makes me wonder, was was Joe Brady kind of used as a scapegoat in a sense? So
I think so. I think I
yeah.
think it I think it kind of go 50-50 because when you look at it, the offensive coordinator
Mm-hmm.
plays a role as well as the head coach. So when it's up to you to make the adjustments at halftime,
Mm-hmm.
we all know how Carolina came out in the third quarter and really the
Of
second
every
half
game.
of every game, and you never saw the adjustments that we all felt that was needed. So
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to say that was all Joe Brady's fault, but you
Yeah.
have to put some of the blame
Because
on him because you had the position of offense coordinator, so therefore you were responsible for that as well, just
yeah,
as well as the head coach. So
this is
that
true.
hey, it comes with the
Yeah.
territory.
Yeah, I just want to say to Will Robinson 843, thank you for that. We appreciate you. Thank you for
I
your comment.
appreciate you,
He
Will.
said good work on your podcast, gentlemen. And hold
Appreciate
on,
you,
I
Will.
got to I got to go to the homie from the Ville here. Fayed Dog said, I think Jaycee might be a bust. The guy hasn't played a full season since he's been here. Okay. I'm going to disagree with that, because I
The
took a I
first
took a lot
sentence.
of yeah, I took a lot of hell when I said that J.C. Horn wasn't a lockdown corner yet. I said
Right,
yet, but I don't
right.
think he's a bust. I don't think he's a bust. If he can, by the graces of the good Lord, if he can put together a couple of healthy seasons, I think you would really see that he was well worth that draft pick at that number. Oh, he's draft number 8 that year. I
Number
think it
8,
was.
yeah.
Yeah,
I agree
I
with you.
think
I agree with you on that.
yeah, if he can, if we, if we can all put our hands together, and whoever you might pray to out in this world, and let them know to keep Jaycee Horn healthy. I
Yeah,
think you'll see, exactly what he can do. We've already seen exactly what he can do, and I disagree about him being a lockdown corner. I just think he needs to do that on a consistent basis versus the top receivers and more of the top receivers in the league. That was my
right,
argument there. I fully
right.
believe he will get there, but he has got to stay on the damn field. He has got to stay healthy.
Gotta stay on damn field. Yep.
Yeah, he's got to stay healthy. He said
Yeah,
last
Will,
season
you're
Jason
right.
injury was a
That was a
friendly. Yeah,
friendly fire bone break.
it
Yeah.
sure was. I mean,
And
Jeremy
that
Chin
was something
came in
that
like a Scud missile.
I mean, yeah. When I saw I was like, "Hmm,
Mm.
I don't know who took the well, it's obvious JC
Yeah,
Horn took the
JC
worst of
Horn,
that hit.
obviously.
Yeah. It's
Mhm.
obvious he took. But I wanted to I wanted to ask you about one person that we didn't mention about press conference. Well, what do you think about DJ Chark, man? I was surprised to see him out there running around healthy, taking some passes from Bryce Young.
Hey, I liked it. I liked it.
Yeah.
And oh, excuse me. And you know, it's the first time I've really heard him talk like that. And he seems like a very humble, very what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of even keel young man, kind of like Bryce Young, but with that Louisiana twang
Yeah.
in his voice. But
Okay.
I'm just glad I'm just glad to see that he's out there on the field. I know he has some injury issues, and same thing. And let me pull up Kevin's comment here. He said, "I think we need to have a whole stadium prayer session, tall order to help horns." Yeah, maybe during fan fairs we can all get out together and start waving hands and
we,
sing "Kumbaya."
we we need to have a Joel Osteen prayer session.
You know what? I'm good on Joel Osteen.
Right. No,
I'm good
I
on
just say that
Osteen.
when Kevin says stadium, that yeah, he was the first person to came to mind, man. Don't pay me no mind. Don't pay me
I
no
got
mind.
you. He said, "Does anyone have the video of Bryce Young throwing the deep ball to Chark?" I do not.
I haven't seen it. And I tell you, Vashti, I think what's her last name? Is it Hunt? Anyway,
I don't
Carolina
know.
Blitz. She
Mhm.
puts together awesome videos, practice videos, and I watch all of them. But that's one I haven't seen um as of yet. That deep ball that he threw to DJ Chark.
You know what? Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Hold on a second, Tony. Let me I'm gonna mute real quick. Let me see if I can pull.
So Kevin, what's been going on, man? How you been? You ain't been in the you ain't been on live with us the past couple weeks. What's going on? Hope we ain't we I hope we haven't ran you off.
Okay. No, I cannot find that I cannot find that clip.
Appreciate the love, Kevin. We always here, man. We just try to we don't know everything, but we're gonna talk about everything. I
There
think
you
that's how it
go.
goes. And how it
That
goes,
that
CJ?
that Yeah, we're not experts on everything, but we're not experts on anything, but we're gonna talk about everything. That is
Right,
the motto here at Two
right.
Fans in the Stands. Let me see. Vash was raving on TMJ. She said he has been balling. And let me tell you,
Yeah.
that is what I've heard. I've heard nothing except this exact same thing. They said
What's that?
Terrace Marshall Jr. has been out there just snatching everything.
bruh.
Everything.
If you look at him, just standing. Now, maybe it's my eyes playing tricks on me, but Terrence Marshall is like he done got a little swole. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't a little dude. He look like he done even got like he done got a little chisel. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Like, hey, he
Hey,
look like he about his business this year. So I'm excited. I'm excited
hey,
to
let
see
me
what
tell you.
TMJ gonna do.
Let me tell you. If there was ever a person on any team, okay, and this is a basketball term, but you can take this and put it to anything. Let me tell you, Terrence Marshall Jr. He's got the lob. Okay, they have lobbed it up and it's heading to him. All he got to do is grab that damn ball and dunk it. And I
Yeah,
say that because if anybody is primed for a breakout season, it is Terrace Marshall Jr. Okay. If I got to come out right now and say my breakout player for the year, it's got to be TMJ. It's got to be because he's shown flashes in his first 2 years. He's shown flashes. The man has hands. Okay. Now he was dealing with some injuries in
yeah.
his rookie year, and I think this might play a part into what Tommy Trimble was saying too about the coaching because the first part of last year, it didn't look like they really had much of a plan for him. And
Man, let
then
me tell you.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, if anybody play fantasy, hey, let me tell you, I already
I
got
had him
that name
last
written
year.
down.
I had him last year in our fantasy league. When he started getting
Mhm.
playing time last year, yeah, I scooped
Yeah.
him up. I scooped him up. I
Mhm.
like he didn't put up no big numbers, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I wanted him. I wanted him, and I didn't want nobody else to get him, so I did grab him as a sleeper last year. But let me just
Hold on one
piggyback
second.
off.
He said
There,
there's
go
no
ahead.
video that she said it was part of practice video that was straight. Oh, all right. Thank you,
Okay,
Chirac Vic. Appreciate that.
what's going on, Chirac? But just piggyback off of what we was talking about earlier, I think
Mhm.
Sean Jefferson is going to do wonders for that wide receiver room this year.
Yep.
That's someone else played in the league, has a son that plays in the league. I mean, when you have that type of person that has that type of knowledge, and like
Mhm.
I said it before, they can give you those little nuances, those little intangibles that can give you something that someone that's never played a position before can give you. I
Yeah.
mean, we can all research and look on Google and find out how do you coach a wide receiver? How
Yeah.
do you coach a defensive lineman to stunt? How do you coach an offensive lineman to to slide? I mean,
Yeah.
we can all Google that and try to implement some of the basics, but it's those little nuances
Uh-huh.
um that matters the most. Just
Hey, man, let me
just
tell you. He had a
see
man's a healthy scratch.
Will you about to start. Don't start,
Hey,
Will. Don't
I
open up
but
that
hey,
Pandora box.
nah, man. Hey, open it up. Look, that's a good point.
No,
That's a
no,
very
you're
good
right.
point.
You're right.
That could
You're
that
right.
that could have been valuable playing time that he missed out on.
But I will say this on that subject, in Matt Rule's defense. Just hear me out.
Oh boy.
When we drafted TMJ, he had an injury history at
Mm-hmm.
LSU.
Yeah.
He had a good pro day at LSU, but he was still nursing his ankle injury.
Mm-hmm.
And from my understanding, he re-aggravated that injury a couple times his rookie season. That's why he never saw the field his rookie
Yeah.
year. Never saw the field. So then last year, um, during training camp OTAs and stuff, you heard about him, how dominant he was. He was showing out this and that. So in my
Mm-hmm.
mind, I'm thinking, okay, he healthy, he's ready to go. Then when the season start, he ain't out there, and I'm like, well, what's going on with TMJ?
Yeah.
Now, back to what Will was just saying, he was a healthy scratch. I have to believe that there was something else that was there. I have to believe that maybe him and Matt Rule didn't see eye to eye. Do you think maybe it was a possibility that Matt Rule was getting rid of Joe Brady, and it was Joe Brady that was the one that was clamoring for, the Panthers to pick TMJ in the second round
Yeah.
that year? You know what I'm saying? So,
Could have
we,
been.
we getting rid of the offense coordinator. Maybe, we get rid of the wide receiver too. But it was funny how once he got fired, that next week he was in the lineup. You know what I'm saying? And played the rest of the season. So, you
Mm-hmm.
know, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a head scratcher. But I do know he did have some injuries coming out of LSU in his rookie year with Carolina that he re-aggravated a couple times. And that first year that really stunted his growth.
Yeah. It did.
Yeah.
It did. But I I can't lie, man. When I say that I'm trying to, kind of keep my excitement under wraps because I feel like when I get too excited about things, especially sports wise, it always goes south. And I ain't trying to say I'm
Right.
like jinx or anything, but I always try. I try. Keyword is try. But I'm definitely hyped to see what this wide receiver group is going to do. And like we said when we was talking about do the Panthers have enough weapons and who was a wide receiver one, you know, we both agreed that Adam Thielen, right now, um, based on what he's done and what he brings to the table, probably be considered as the front runner for a wide receiver one right now. But I do
Right.
believe that's going to change sooner rather than later. Once the season gets started. I'm sorry. Yep. But yeah, man. But Tony, you got anything you want to talk about, buddy?
No, that was it, man. That was it. Like I said, I know mini camp is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know too much about what's going to happen. With mini camp, I don't think it'd be any difference than what we had the past few OTAs. I think this one's just mandatory. The other ones were
Yeah.
volunteering. You can volunteer.
Voluntary. I
Yeah,
got yeah.
yeah, I
I
can't
got
get my doggone words out. But
you. You good.
also we have two additions to the roster. Tyon Evans, running back out of Louisville, and then we
mm,
also picked up Jalen.
Dalton.
Was it Jalen Dalton? Right,
Mm,
defensive
defensive tackle.
tackle.
Yep.
Yeah. So that brings our roster to a full 90-man roster. But and listen, just as well as we sign them, we can release them. I just want to see them make some adjustments. Just bring in a veteran cornerback. Bring bring
Mm-hmm.
bring in a veteran cornerback. Make me happy. You know what I'm saying? Make me a happy fan. Make Panther Nation happy. Don't leave us out here. Stressing and doing all the things that's going on right now.
Mm.
Hey man, just Scott
You
Fitterer, Dan Morgan, just do the right thing.
you
Don't they
sound
just do
like
the right thing, man?
what was my man name from the Players Club, St. Louis, when he told boys to do something make me happy.
Yeah.
Oh god. Let me see. Kevin said, fellas, you see how Bryce Young throws those balls, the angle and the spin on the ball. Prettiest damn throws I've seen. No wonder why receivers are catching everything coming to them. And DJ Chark said that in his press conference. They asked him, how is it catching passes from Bryce? And they were talking about the deep ball that they connected on. And they asked him, like, how easy was it to catch? And he was like, he said, now his throws are great. He said he has touch, accuracy, and they're very catchable. So
Mm-hmm.
that's definitely what I want to hear our wide receivers saying about our quarterback, especially our rookie quarterback. about how he throws the ball. And and again, I'm gonna keep bringing this up. OTAs, getting in the mandatory OTAs, we have not hit live action yet. Okay, we're still
Right.
throwing in the wind, getting stuff together. But you can't just look over this. Okay, you can't just look over it.
I'm
Let me
still
see.
here. I'm still here.
I got you. Let me see. What
Okay.
rock the Falcons defense and Falcons O line are the two focus groups that can hold us back from a division title. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Good point. I mean,
Well,
Atlanta
well,
does have a. I ain't gonna put them over ours, but I say they got a decent offensive line.
well. That's what I was going to ask. Will hey, do you think Atlanta offensive line is better than our offensive line? I think statistically, I think our offensive line finished better than Atlanta did last year. Correct me if I'm
Okay,
wrong on that. I could be. I'm not for sure, but I
I'm not either. I
believe
have to look that up.
that our offensive line was better than Atlanta's offensive line last year.
Yeah. Now
Defensively, oh,
I,
go ahead.
yeah. No, I was gonna say, far as the offensive line, um, now if you comparing stats, that first half of the season is gonna is gonna weaken our case about especially for the whole season. Now mind you, they
Right.
really took off halfway through the season on, but yeah, we'll see. What about Marcus Peters? If I'm not mistaken, he tweeted or put something on Instagram and was basically telling the Ravens, like, hey, I want to come back. Like, why don't we need to go ahead and make this happen. And
Take them.
you know
They can have them.
why you
Oh,
don't
I'm
like
sorry.
Marcus Peters, Tony? Tell him why you don't like him.
You know what? It's not
No, don't
the
beat around the
player.
bush. What? Tell him what you told me.
He's a basket case.
There you go.
He's a basket case. He is Robbie Anderson 2.0, but worse. You know what I'm saying? Like this dude has had problems ever since he was at the University of Washington. Blowing up on the field, blowing up on coaches, having temper tantrums, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to invest in a player that can possibly um cho-
Chosen Peters. Wow.
that could possibly be a disruption to your team. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's my only thing. Now, I love his production. I love the dog in him. I love the
Hmm.
type of attitude, nastiness that he brings to the field. I hate
Yeah.
that he blows up and it's like it's uncontrollable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you feel a certain way about something or whatever the case may be, do it at halftime. Do it in practice. Do go in the coach's office and have a damn fit. But blowing up on the sidelines during games and stuff like that, you know, being in fights all the time, like nah. To me, the pros don't outweigh the cons. To me, I would prefer us look at William Jackson III, like I mentioned a couple weeks
Hmm.
ago. If anybody did any research or any history on William Jackson III, great cornerback, tall, lean, fast, out of Houston. When Dante Jackson went down a couple years ago, I was hoping that we would get him because Washington was looking to trade him at the time. Well, Washington
Hmm.
did end up trading him after 4 games to the Steelers, but because of his injury, he never played it down for Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
and Pittsburgh released him in March. Well, now he
Yeah.
said he is fully healthy, 100% ready to go. That's another vet. That's a veteran that you could bring in right now on a good deal that can help solidify your cornerback position.
Hmm.
I'm just
And
saying.
I want to say, if anybody hasn't seen that video, we did one about the top remaining free agents that we think the Panthers should go after. So if you haven't, check that out. And I'm gonna go back to Will Robinson here. He said their O line versus our edge rusher minus Brian Burns. Oh, yeah.
Well,
You
that ain't no
take,
fair comparison.
huh?
That ain't no fair comparison. How you gonna take Brian Burns off? Well, who you gonna take off their offensive line? You gonna take off
Hey,
one attack?
what? No, what I always say, it's a possibility. You know,
Man,
and and
hell
see,
no.
but I'm saying though, this is something that could happen. So, Will, thank you for the comment. I see what you're getting at. Even though some people might not, I see what you're getting at. He a little sensitive over
I can see.
there.
You can see.
Let me see. Ty Sills. And I don't know if I've seen you comment before. And if you haven't, man, welcome. Thank you for commenting. I appreciate you joining us. He says NFC South will come down to coaching. That's the most underrated aspect of the game. And I think we have an advantage over everybody else on paper. Facts.
Facts.
Facts. Big facts.
Facts.
You are absolutely correct. Absolutely
Yes.
correct. This coaching staff, I said this before. There should not be a situation that should surprise this coaching staff. They shouldn't be caught off guard. And one thing I want to say is I do think our halftime adjustments should, as you said, on paper, we should be able to go
Mhm.
out halftime and make the adjustments that we have not been able to make for. I can't even go think back far enough. It just seems like as far as back as I can remember, it's like Panthers
Right.
going halftime. If the game is just not going right, the adjustments just don't come at halftime. So, but yeah,
Right.
that I agree with this
Yeah, I love
comment
that comment.
for wholeheartedly. Yeah, that's a great comment. Success is never. How do y'all feel about our run defense going into Atlanta? Going to the Atlanta game week 1, A through F grade if you are grading our run defense. Um, go ahead, Tony. Let me formulate my thoughts over here.
On paper, right now, I would have to. I would just have to grade it a C on paper because there
Mm,
was a lot of changes to our defensive front, and we're changing schemes from a 4-3 to a 3-4. So it looks good on paper right now. I like Derek Brown playing, the 4 high technique in this 3-4 defense. That's going to pretty much give him a one-on-one matchup, with the tackle or the guard, and allow him to, cause some havoc. Shy Tuttle is a good run defender. I don't really know too much about Deshaun Williams.
mm,
I think Henry Anderson
Anderson.
is going to be other defensive tackle in this 3-4. I think Henry Anderson will start ahead of Deshaun Williams. That's just my personal opinion. But
Okay.
having some big guys with some length, some size that can I think overall, let me not try to get too deep. Overall, on paper, I think our run defense will be better than last year. Last year, run defense had a problem with being consistent, and they had a problem with tackling. It's like whenever that was made an emphasis or that was emphasized, then that following week they went out and did good or did
Mm,
great, but it wasn't on a consistent basis. One week we can shut down, a running game and don't allow somebody to have 50 yards, and next week we give up damn near 200. You know what I'm saying? There was no consistency when it came to the run defense last year. But on paper, I think we look better this year than we would than we did last year. But go ahead,
yeah.
CJ.
Um, I'm gonna agree. Now, and I know our first game against Atlanta, we gave up 167 yards to, let me see, Caleb Huntley. Mariota had 43. Caleb Huntley had 91. Mariota had 43, and Tyler Algier had 39. Now, if I go
Mhm.
back to the second game versus Atlanta, let me see. We had
How many times did
233
they run it?
yards rush. Oh, I got
How
off
many
of
times
now.
did
They
Atlanta run it?
in the game they played in Charlotte, they ran 25 times for 138 yards. And that was a game at Bank of America Stadium. Now going back to the game at Atlanta, they ran 37 times for 167 yards. But the one thing I will take out of both of those contests versus Atlanta, 0 touchdowns. Now
Right.
mind still yards given up, but it didn't make an impact on the game as far as them running wild and getting into the end zone. Which for us it was the exact opposite. Our run game, led to us the Foreman getting
Score.
in the end zone, yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
But I would say I would give it a C plus B minus because on paper, like you said, I like how our defensive line looks. You got Brian Burns on one end, possibly Shy Tuttle on the other, because I think they'll mix and match because they already said that they're probably gonna put Shy Tuttle at defensive end some. And Brian Burns will play there some. I'm not Brian Burns, Derek Brown play there
Yeah,
some.
Brown.
But then, and I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up our boy, Big Snacks, Marquand McCall, you
Yes,
know, six,
sir.
6 foot, whatever, and the size of a Buick LeSabre. I mean, hey, that's a big dude, and let me tell you, he showed
Yeah.
he showed us what he could do preseason last year, and I think he made the squad, and I think that's another player that given the time on the field, and go back to this again, coaching, they get him coached up. I think he might have an impact too. I think he might have an impact too.
What we got down there? Now,
What's up,
Anthony,
Anthony? How you doing, buddy?
Hey,
What's going on?
how you
what's
doing?
going on?
Doing
We
good,
good, my
man. Doing
friend. We
good.
good. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I just wanted to. Sorry, I missed a little bit of the podcast, but I wanted to drop by because it showed you guys were still alive. So
Yeah, man.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
we
man. We appreciate it. We appreciate
yeah.
it.
How's it
Where's
been going? What
Austin at?
oh, my son's with his mother.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
Tell them two fans in the stand shouted them out. Said, hey.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're going through a divorce situation. So
Oh, sorry to hear that, man.
yeah,
Sorry to hear that.
But yeah.
but
B. Amos. Yeah. Wait. William Jackson is that corner, man. I love William Jackson. I hope that we take a long, hard look at signing him. That is another veteran that is a free agent right now that we can definitely use. That's one of the corner I was like, well, if we brought him in and say that Dante Jackson isn't ready at the beginning of the season, and then when he does come back, what do you do with Dante Jackson? Well, hell, I don't know, but that would be a good damn problem to have. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That hey, Ejiro would have to figure that out. But at least you
Yeah.
would have three legitimate corners that you
Mm-hmm.
could put on the field at any given time. We just need
Yeah.
to have some consistency and some veteran depth at cornerback.
Yeah, because the fall off, Big Buick McCall, yeah, I got to trademark that. But the fall off from our starters to who comes in and fills in when one of them gets hurt is the drop off is just too much.
Right,
It's just too much. If you had somebody, I'm not saying they got to come in and bat down every single pass that come their way, even though that would be nice. But somebody needs to be capable. They've got to come
right,
in and they've got to be capable and they've got to hold the fort down. That's the thing.
right.
Our depth behind our starters, they can't hold the fort down. The fort to them is made out of paper mache. And the
I
defense
mean,
just come through and run through it.
outside of CJ Henderson and Keith
Mm,
Taylor, you talking about what you have at corner. You talking about Stanley Thomas Oliver. However you say his name.
the third.
Well, the third. That's a practice squad special team ace. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Herb Miller. I don't know who Herb Miller is. Has Herb Miller even suited up for Carolina? Has Herb Miller even played in the damn game? I don't think so. Don't know who he is. Okay.
Yeah.
Then who else did you have on the list?
Who else was it? On the depth chart,
Yeah, on the depth chart.
they had Rajon Wright, and then for whatever
Okay,
reason they had Jeremy Chin on there, which I think was a
right. Well, Rajon
misprint or
Wright was
typo.
hurt this past OTAs because he
Mm,
didn't practice at all. Hopefully, it ain't nothing major. No, he'll be ready for training camp and can produce. He's one that I'm looking forward to making the team. I think Rajon Wright, if he's healthy and gets adequate playing time,
mm.
I see he can possibly push Keith Taylor for his position. That's what I'm hoping.
Hey, I hope
I'm
so.
hoping that turns out.
I hope somebody can come in and and that old saying, light a fire under some of these cats and make them realize like, hey, your spot is not set in stone. It is not permanent. You know, like
No,
we always say, this here is a business. You could be here one day and gone tomorrow. You know, you got to produce, and that's definitely what our secondary needs. We need players that can produce. And when your number is called on, you need to come out there and do what you got to do. So yeah.
Anthony, have y'all broken into somebody's house? Y'all look like y'all in a prone position about to attack some damn body. What's going on?
Oh
Who's
Lord.
that back there on the bed?
Oh,
Don't
this is
pay
my
him no
brother.
attention.
This is my brother.
How you doing,
What's
man?
going on, man?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
y'all
yeah,
That's
y'all
man.
my
don't pay me no mind, man. I'm with the shits today.
But yeah. But yeah, man. But let me see. We got one more comment. It said, I like Wright held it down against Jordan Addison. I've still yet to go back and look at that tape, but that's what I've heard, that Rajon Wright had a really good game versus Jordan Addison. So I really
Yeah,
do
I
have
need
to
to go
go
look
back
at
and
that
look at that
tape.
tape.
The
after you
Oregon
say
State against
after you say
USC.
something after you say what you're gonna say, CJ. I wanted
Mhm.
to say some things about Dante
Go
Jackson.
ahead.
Okay.
So Dante so since I always been a Panthers fan, I didn't have
Mhm.
I didn't have any favorites. I liked everybody, but Dante Jackson was my all-time favorite when he got drafted with us. I've been
Mhm.
loyal to his support all the way through,
Mhm.
and it's just it's disappointing of the a talent he has. He gets injured so much, and it just disappoints me.
Yeah.
And it's just like wow, and
Yeah.
but we need a steady corner that's
Mhm.
going to be constantly take the ball away, bat
Mhm.
balls down, just some type of freak. You know what I'm saying? Like ready to get that ball, and you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And
I just get very sad like when he gets injured and they say he's out for a couple weeks or he's out for a month or he's out for the whole season, and it's just like wow, and he's so
yeah.
talented.
Yeah. Hey,
I
I
remember.
agree.
Oh,
When he's in the game, he does produce.
Yeah,
He's a little on the shorter side, but I mean he's fast
yeah,
and he's got skills, but he's like we've been preaching, he's got to stay on the field.
yeah.
He's got to stay healthy.
I was reading too. They were saying something about this could be a Christian McCaffrey 2.0, like
Talking about
who?
how
uh
Miles
Dante
Sanders?
gets. Yeah, how they're saying that he gets injured so much that he could be a CMC.
Dante.
Yeah,
Oh, Dante. Dante.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, well, I think the CMC thing, that was a product of Carolina really just running him into the dirt. I mean,
Yes.
Yeah,
when he was on the
yeah,
field, they acted like there was no no other person out there, and it was
Uh-huh.
like, all right, CMC, 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 CMC,
right.
and he held his own for a few years, and he stayed on the field. He played. He had 1,000 yard receiving, 1,000 yard rushing receive. I'm sorry, 1,000 yard receiving season and 1,000 yard rushing receiving the same year. But after a while, it just took a toll on him. And I pray that the organization has learned their lesson, and I pray
Yes.
that they don't do that with anybody else. But
Yeah.
we'll definitely see. But yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
But Tony, you got anything else you want to say before we get up out of here, cuz?
Mm-hmm.
No, man, that hey, pretty much it for me. I just want to say, Scott Fitterer, Dan Morgan, the William Jackson, the third is still available, and I also wanted to mention that I know that we have been wanting to see Carolina sign another defensive end in
Mm-hmm.
free agency, and just this week, they said that there was some trade interest in Daniil Hunter.
Yeah.
Now, that would be an awesome, awesome pickup, but I don't know if Carolina is willing to trade any more assets, which i.e. draft picks,
Yeah.
to acquire Daniil Hunter. But if you put Daniil Hunter on one side and Brian Burns on the other,
It's
oh
an interesting
boy,
combo.
that is a
Yeah.
long day for somebody. I would
That's
love
gonna
to
Mm-hmm.
be.
see it happen. I just don't know if Carolina is willing to give up the draft capital, if any at all, it would take to get Daniil Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want to trade YGM, you know, and maybe a sixth or a seventh round draft pick for Daniil Hunter, I think that would be good. But
Mm.
anything out of the ordinary, I don't know. And with Daniil Hunter, I think this year he has a 4.9 million base salary, but he
Mm-hmm.
carries like a 12 or 13 million dollar cap hit and 18 million dollar in dead money. So that you have to factor that in as well. That may be something that Scott Fitterer and the boys, that would give them something to think about as well. How would that all
Mm-hmm.
factor in? Because you still have to extend Brian Burns, hopefully
Yeah.
before preseason.
Yep, this is true. This is very true. But I just want to thank everybody for joining us, and I'll go back through the comments. Thank you, Anthony, for hopping on with us. Um,
You're welcome.
I wish you could have gotten a little earlier, but I still
Yeah.
appreciate you coming on. But
I
going to
was,
scroll
I was
through
gonna
here.
I was gonna
Go
see
ahead.
if you guys had Facebook
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
anything.
Yeah.
yeah, we got a
Um,
Facebook page.
you
Yeah,
can
Yeah,
look
go
me
check
up.
us out.
Instagram,
Uh,
YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
you could look me up under Anthony Rochelle
Rochelle.
if you want to add me.
Tony?
Okay,
So
we'll we'll
Okay.
we'll do. But
because
I want to say,
I like
Daddy?
to add Panther fans. Like, so.
I got you. I got you. I got you.
Right.
But I wanted to say thank you to Ty Seals, Will
Mm-hmm.
Robinson, 843, B
Mm-hmm.
Amos, Success is Inevitable, Kevin, how you say his last name, Tony?
Kevin.
Kevin
I can't
Falkery.
Mm-hmm.
Falkery, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see. Anthony Brown commented, B&B Chirac, Vet, KT. Let me see. I think that's it. Yeah. But I just wanted to thank everybody for joining us and for the
Um,
comments. Yeah, Vietnam. Yeah, I just forget about Vietnam. Yeah, him and his
KT.
JC Horn comment,
Mm-hmm.
KT. But I just want to thank everybody. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We are at 560 subscribers right now. So we're working on our goal to
Yeah.
get to 1,000. And we appreciate all the love and support. And if you like to, our Cash App is scrolling on the bottom of the screen. If you want to donate anything to the channel, be greatly appreciated. We're going to use that to try and make the channel grow and make it better. And as always, everybody, in the spirit of the Panthers, keep pounding.